After losing a 39-13 blowout in the first Gillette Stadium Colonial Clash, the Massachusetts football team hoped to fare better in the 2011 sequel, which took place on Saturday evening. Although the number 22 ranked Minutemen could not come out with the win, they proved to be solid competition for the number 13 New Hampshire Wildcats as they lost in a close contest 27-21. The fans were riled up, especially when former Minuteman and current New York Giants star receiver Victor Cruz paid a visit to his home crowd. The game started off going UNH's way when standout senior running back Dontre Peters returned the ball 44 yards to the UMass 42-yard line. It was all about the run game for the Wildcats as they had a run-pass ratio of 44-16. In their first drive, they ran the ball between Peters and quarterback Kevin Decker for 7 out of the 8 plays on the drive. It was capped off by Peters' 5-yard rushing touchdown and a bold 2-point conversion pass from Decker to defensive end Brian McNally. UMass responded when freshman Brian Dowling took the ensuing kickoff to the Minuteman 49-yard line. While UNH didn't take too much to the air, UMass quarterback Kellen Pagel attempted 42 passes, completing 25 of them. Senior Julian Talley had a career day despite the loss, setting career highs in receptions with 10, receiving yards with 113, and all-purpose yards with 144. UMass's opening drive looked to be promising. However, it turned into a disaster when Pagel was picked off in the end zone by UNH defensive back Manny Assam. With the ball in the hands of Decker, he took advantage of the turnover and marched the Wildcats down the field 51 yards in about 3.5 minutes, both passing and running the ball himself. This drive was finished off with an impressive 47-yard field goal by sophomore Mike MacArthur. Trailing 11-0, UMass decided to put the ball in the hands of trustworthy running back Jonathan Hernandez. However, on his first rush of the drive, Hernandez fumbled and turned the ball over to UNH. The Cats did not take advantage this time, as MacArthur missed a 37-yarder. Despite a final first-quarter effort with 2 more completions to Talley and Jesse Jumisti, the Minutemen left a goose egg on the board after 1 quarter. UMass had better luck in the second quarter when Pagel started off a drive with a 17-yard pass to tight end Emil Iguanagu. Pagel completed 6 passes on this drive, spreading the ball around and hitting Iguanagu, Jumisti, and Talley all twice each. Talley then rushed the ball, weaving in and out 23 yards for a touchdown. However, Pagel was unable to match the earlier 2-point conversion by the Wildcats as he threw an incomplete pass, setting the score at 11-6 Wildcats. UNH immediately quieted the UMass crowd when redshirt freshman Nico Sturriddy showed off his young talent, picking up a 13-yard rush, followed by a bumbling 34-yard catch and run. Peters then took control at the goal line with a 1-yard rushing touchdown, his second of the game. The next drive started off in a positive manner for UMass, with a 48-yard return by Jumisti, putting the Minutemen in UNH territory. Pagel and Hernandez then fought their way down the field with key receptions by Iguanagu and senior Tom Gilson. Hernandez then took the ball up the middle for a score, but kicker Brendan Levengood failed to make the extra point. The Minutemen then kicked the ball off to Wildcat R.J. Harris, who lost 4 yards on his only return and landed at the UNH 6-yard line. Despite the deficit, the Minutemen went into the half with the momentum. At the beginning of the third, Hernandez ran for a long touchdown that would have been a lead changer. However, it was called back due to a holding call on Jumisti. Determined to get the touchdown back, UMass went through a grueling set of downs and decided to go for it on 4th and 9 later in the drive, but they failed to convert. Later in the third, Sturriddy continued to shine with a 17-yard run for a big Wildcat first down near the Minuteman red zone. Decker then threw his only touchdown of the game, connecting with senior tight end Sean Cullen for a 23-yard score. However, Decker was unsuccessful this time in converting a 2-point conversion. The next drive for the Minutemen was nothing shy of impressive, consisting of 19 plays and 80 yards. However, being behind by 12, they could not afford the 9 minutes they took off the clock in the drive. It was all Pagel and Hernandez on this drive again, as Hernandez rushed the ball 8 times and Pagel completed 5 while running 3 times. On his third run of the drive, Pagel scored on a gritty headbanger that brought UMass within reach. However, Levingood failed on the extra point yet again, allowing the Minutemen to score just 6 on the drive. UNH was then able to take more than 5.5 minutes off the clock by running the ball and keeping it in bounds on passes. Ultimately, this set up a 35-yard field goal for MacArthur, and that gave the Cats a 9-point lead with a little over 5 minutes to go. Pagel then single-handedly led UMass down the field to give hope to the remaining Minutemen fans. He was able to march down the field in less than 3.5 minutes, completing 7 passes, including 3 to Gilmisti, 2 to tight end Rob Blanchflower, 1 to Gilson, and 1 to Talley. However, from the 4-yard line, he overthrew Gilson in the end zone and underthrew Hernandez, forcing them to bring out replacement kicker Brandon Yelovich to kick a 22-yard field goal. The Wildcats then collected the onside kick and were able to take a knee, ensuring them the victory. With 2 touchdowns and an impressive 208 all-purpose yards, Dontra Peters was awarded the Bill Knight Trophy as the game's most outstanding player. He was named as the CAA Special Teams Player of the Week, while Wildcat linebacker Matt Evans, who recorded 13 tackles and 2 forced fumbles, was named Defensive Player of the Week. This is the 74th and final scheduled meeting for the longtime Wildcat and Minutemen rivalry.